I find it pretty annoying when people invite me to go out. It wasn't like that before. In the first part of the middle school, I used to stay at home and not talk to anyone at all. Basically, I just played on the PC and from time to time I studied for 10 minutes for school, because I was waiting for a communist listening to the blackboard as practiced in my country. I was in the 6th grade and basically I was just praying for a red snow code because, that means school gets cancelled for like 2 days and I get to play more on the PC and watch some YouTube videos. Man, I don't care at all. Those were the days. But suddenly my phone is ringing. Hello? Hey Tudor, what's up, bro? I'm Leo from school. It was basically a normal colleague from middle school with whom I used to talk in the breaks between classes. We were neither friends nor enemies, but we just talked about games and YouTube. But I was never expecting him to call me and I didn't even know where he had my phone number from. Wanna come to my house? I have an Xbox 360 and we can play some games together. Sure. It was weird. It was the first time I went to my parents to say that I got invited by a friend to his home. And my parents were excited, but they were the only ones. I felt as if I had been thrown out of my comfort zone. It was actually a very unsatisfying moment, I could say. I went to Leo's house and we played on his Xbox 360 and everything was okay. Next weekend he invited me as well, but this time he also invited other classmates and they were also normal people that I was talking to, but I had never considered them to be my friends. To be honest, I didn't consider anyone to be my friend. We were like 4 middle school kids playing and talking about other classmates and teachers. Time was moving fast and we got closer to each other. We even went outside with the bikes and played some hide and seek games. And it was such a radical change for me, man. From a guy that spent his entire days by playing on the PC and watching YouTube, to a sociable guy from a group of friends that actually had inside jokes. Even though that group of friends did not last more than a year, that was an experience that changed my way of being. I used to just play on the PC and barely reply to any message that I got on Messenger. I didn't even care about Facebook since I only had a profile picture and it got like 7 likes, or something like that. I was already used to going out with friends. In high school, we used to go outside and drink some beer and talk about our crushes or about the teachers and colleagues from school. But most of the time, let's be honest, it was about our crushes. Obviously, the alcohol made its effect and made us talk like real G's about our thoughts on these topics. I got in college in a different city from mine, so it basically seemed like we no longer have any reason to message each other. Some of my friends started working, other ones were studying as well, but at another university from another city. I started learning some courses based on programming and eventually become better at JavaScript and Vue.js. Then I learned MySQL and React and Node.js and so on. And then I was thinking, these courses made me great at my field, and I would also love to start drawing as well. Imagine if I could have learned all these things in high school when I had no money pressure. But instead, I went out a lot with my friends, maybe even too much. What do I remember from those outings? To be honest, I remember the topics we were talking about and some vague happenings, but nothing more. It's been a couple of years since we spoke to each other. We're not in a beef or anything, but a discussion or going out feels like a waste of time. Nowadays, Gen Z is all about grinding till success. And don't get me wrong, it's better in this way, but it seems that there's no more room for something casual and innocent, like an outgoing and a discussion about life. Instead, the discussions are all about companies and employment. Right now, when a friend is like, hey, yo, we should see each other, I'm like, okay, but why? Right now, I see going out with friends pretty boring, and honestly, I don't know if that's going to change anytime. Like, yeah, we meet and then we eat some chips on a bench in park, or maybe we drink something and start talking like real G's. And what? Is it something special about this? Will we remember the discussion after at least, I don't know, 1 year, for example? Maybe not. Because you have your own problems and I have mine. And after a couple of months, let's say that we'll call each other and maybe you'll remind me of that problem you've told me on the bench in the park, while eating chips. And I'll be like, oh yeah, man, sorry, I forgot about that. How's it going? Because let's face it, guys, in most of the cases, these outings are not like memorable episodes anymore. I even had this problem with a girl that liked me. I was like, yeah, she's okay, she's fine, but I was unemployed, you know, and I didn't have any YouTube channel. The only money I was making were from scholarship, you know, and those were money that I wanted to save and eventually use to invest in something in the future. We had like 2 dates and being the boy, you know, obviously I had to pay for them. In one of them I spent like $25 on fast food, and in the other one I spent $5 on a single cup of tea from a brand that I didn't even care about, but she cared, and you know, she just wanted to drink some tea, and yeah, it was nothing to sneeze at. In my third world country, these money are nothing to sneeze at, man. And after the dates I also had no energy to learn anything. Basically, half of the days were wasted, and I was thinking, if I get in a relationship with this girl, will I have enough time to learn and practice enough to manage somehow to not be an employee after college? Having a relationship is a responsibility that you actually have to think about if you have enough time and energy to dedicate yourself to it, you know? I couldn't imagine going out 3 times a week and possibly being told why we don't go out 4 times a week. It is absurd. And the fact that a relationship can also fall apart anytime, it was not worth the time, man. Let's face it. And it's not just about girls, it's also about friends. Imagine staying in your home and actually having the initiative for the first time in a couple of years to actually learn something. Suddenly, you want to start an interesting course based on something you just found to be lit as crap, you know? Suddenly you find yourself wondering why you haven't thought of starting earlier this interesting field that you just saw. You want to learn it and practice it, you know? Even if it's about drawing or programming or... It doesn't really matter, you know? But after 3 minutes in the course, a friend of you calls you to invite you to a party in a pub. If you accept the invitation, you are basically throwing away your potential to really learn something for the first time in years. But if you deny, your friend will get mad at you, saying that traditional bullshit that you're not the same as you used to be, you know? I met a lot of people who started smoking because of bad surroundings. I met a lot of people who didn't have enough time to focus on the horror math tests because last night they drank with friends and after getting bad grades, they got into other problems, you know? I even had a friend who got into the car of one of his friends, but that guy was the kind of speedster who drove over 120 miles per hour regardless of the street he was on, you know? Eventually they had a car accident and miraculously everyone in the car survived, but don't ask me how. Having friends is great, but learning how to say no when it is the best for you is more important. Not taking their bad reactions to the rejections to heart is also a great thing. If they are real friends, they will understand that you want more than just to party all day while you're broke. They'll understand that maybe their vision of success is very different than yours. If they manage to do that, you can continue to be friends. If they don't, follow your path in life and enjoy not being disturbed.